Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is your friend Vijay back with another video in the Clark University series. And in this video, we have a very special guest with us, Ms. Tara Mason. She is the academic advisor for SPS Department. And in this video, she's going to share some information and knowledge of herself to the questions that you asked me a lot. So thank you, Tara, for doing this. Please introduce yourself to the students and they are very happy to hear you.
Yeah, thank you, VJ. I'm very happy to be here today. So I'm Tara Mason. I am the academic advisor at the School of Professional Studies. So I help students with any academic related questions. So if you had questions about what to register in terms of classes every semester, or if you're having trouble in any of your classes, you can think of me as sort of your go-to person for any academic concerns.
That's correct. Like I had Tara as my go-to person when I was coming here in the spring intake of 2022, and she was very helpful, and that's the reason I reached out to you. Like the first option I had is like, of course, Tara is the person to go, and she's definitely very helpful. So again, thanks a lot for doing this, and we'll get straight in the video and ask your questions, which you keep posted on my YouTube videos. And then I wanted someone who's more informative and who's more reliable to answer these questions, so that students also have this confidence, okay, this information is actually very good and it's very reliable. So again, that's the reason to do this. All right, so we'll start with the question. The first question that I get asked a lot from students, and in fact, even I had this question when I reached here to Clark University as an international student, is that how do I know my SPS department better? How do I get into the office? How do I know the people there? And in fact, just the SPS department as a whole, like what all things are there to do here, like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a lot of staff here at SPS who are here to help you. Our sole jobs is to support you as students and to make sure that you're successful. So when you walk into the SPS office, you'll see either one of our student workers or our office manager, Christine. They're here to greet you and point you in the right direction. So even if you come in and you're not quite sure what you're looking for or what you need, they can, help you out there. In terms of advising, we do have several different resources available for students in the office.
Yeah.
For example, we offer, of course, scheduled appointments, so in-person appointments or appointments over Zoom in case you're not in the area. We also offer drop-in hours every week. So these are opportunities for students to just come in if they have a quick question or something really urgent and aren't able to schedule an appointment right away for whatever reason. And then we also have a wonderful group of peer advisors who hold drop-in hours throughout the week too. So we really encourage you to come in, meet all of us, and use the resources that we have available.
Yeah, that's really a great resource, because I remember when I reached here, so I had this opportunity to have multiple meetings with Tara herself to plan my academic roadmap. In fact, I had like multiple talks to just discuss and get clarified of the next question which we have is like just to understand and just to get a knowledge of like, the difference of our US based system and our Indian education system, because what we have in masters is that we are given a whole curriculum of the whole masters, and we know exactly which course will be taught in which semester, so we are clear with that. But here we have an option to choose, right? And then we are confused what is exactly the difference and how do we plan it. So that is one of the questions that even I had, so a lot of people ask that.
Yeah, so that can be confusing. We do tend to offer a little bit of flexibility with the classes that you take to try to make sure that your master's is as individualized as possible, because everyone's coming in with different goals and different things that they want to study. So with that said, with each of the programs, you will have some required core courses. So these are classes that you have to take. And then usually you'll have several electives that you're able to choose from as well. And this, for the most part, can be any courses that we offer at SPS. So that can be a little bit confusing because there is so much flexibility there. But you want to just keep in mind that it's really good to know your curriculum and know what is required for your particular program. But apart from that, just if you have any questions about it, you aren't quite sure what to take, or maybe when some classes will be offered, it does vary semester to semester. So this is a good question to ask your academic advisor.
Correct, yeah. So even if you have, like after this video too, a lot of questions, of course you can reach out to her in person as well. But the overall point to understand is no matter which department you come from in the SPS department, whether it's IT, DA or CS or program management, in fact, it's same for all of them. And then there are peer advisors for every department, right? The SPS, the project management, DA, and everyone. So very directed questions to those peer advisors. And in fact, this goes same to the SOM department as well. So students who are coming for SOM department, like marketing analytics, business analytics, even you have academic advisors for sure, peer advisors for sure. You can reach out to them in case you have any questions as all such like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so the third question that I get asked a lot is, in fact, this is again a very important questions to understand, because a lot of people have this doubt that they are not from technical background. They doubt themselves, because of course it is true, because it could be daunting a lot of times that coming to a program like CS, DA and analytics itself, if they're not from technical background, how difficult is it for them to cope up with everything that is going on in semester, and what kind of support will they get if someone is coming from that background?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one thing to keep in mind is that although these programs are graduate level, they're at a master's level, they are introductory in some ways, so that for the most part, there are not any specific classes or skills that you need to have done before entering this program.
Okay.
If you have been accepted into your program, it means that we believe that you are qualified,
All right.
and that you have the background needed to do well in your classes. But with that said, it's always a great idea to reach out to your faculty. So if you're taking a class, let's say you're taking Python programming and you really don't have a lot of programming experience, and you're a little concerned about that, reach out to your faculty before the semester starts. Try to connect with them, explain a little bit about your background, and see if there's anything in particular that they recommend you do to do well in the course. And of course, you can also reach out to your academic advisor. We're happy to help you connect with your faculty, and then also give you some other resources and support as well. But if during the semester you do find yourself struggling or falling behind a little bit, communicating with your professors is so important. Oftentimes you'll also have a teaching assistant in your class as well, and they're just another layer of support for you.
No, that's correct actually. So it's actually not something not to be too scared of if you are throughout your semester, because in middle of the semester also students might find it so difficult or something, like not everyone actually, but if they find it difficult to go through any, I don't know, assignments or any topics, probably you have to reach out to your faculty. And to be honest, the important thing which I felt during my first semester is like the key is to just reach out to the faculty, because if you just keep it to yourself, it's just not going to help anyone, right? So if you are open about it, if you don't understand, just ask, right, to the faculty. And I think they are very supportive when it comes to solving doubts or anything like that. Definitely.
Yeah. There's really, in the United States, there's no shame in asking questions. And in fact, it's expected, and, really encouraged to do that. So if you fall behind, if you have questions, reaching out is going to be the best thing to do, because a professor can't help you or an advisor can't help you if we don't know what's going on. So it's really important to do that.
Yeah, that's correct. So of course, I mean, there is so much information in this video right now. So I'm trying to ask all the questions that we have, but again, we have limited time. So I'll just quickly go through the most important ones that we get from students. So one more question was like, many facilities and opportunities offered by SPS. So of course you mentioned that there are academic advising office hours, peer advising office hours. Apart from that, like let's say SPS students are coming here as an international student or someone else too, any facilities or any different opportunities that we are even not aware of, so we won't be able to ask that comes. So what exactly to expect from the department itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So within the School of Professional Studies, we have obviously academic advising, the peer advisors like you mentioned. We also have a great team of staff who are here to help you with your career goals. So for example, we have a couple people, Todd Bartlett and Colin Moore, who are here to help you with preparing for not only internships, but also jobs beyond when you finish your program. So they can help you make sure that your resume looks great, you're crafting good cover letters, your interview skills are good. So we have a lot of support in that way too, and we really encourage you to take advantage of that, because it's really a nice opportunity to get one-on-one individualized expertise really in those areas. But outside of the School of Professional Studies, we also have a lot of great resources at Clark as well. So for example, our International Center, especially for our international students.
Absolutely.
They are the ones that have all of the expertise regarding things like CPT, OPT, I-20s. So they are really your go-to people for anything related to that. And then we also have other services at Clark, like our counseling center, different things like that. So if you find yourself needing some additional support outside of academics, we can point you in the right direction, you know, and get you the support you need.
Yeah. In fact, International Center is also a place with a lot of good resources and nice people working there.
Yeah.
Very friendly, because I have been in interaction with them a lot. ISSO team, IC team, both, and they are very helpful too. So probably I'll make a video with them too for more specific questions related to I-20s, CPT, OPT, both, because it is a confusing topic, to be honest, when it comes to CPT, OPT, when to start, how to start. Those things are very confusing for us, and it is something to be discussed for sure. So I will do that in the upcoming videos for sure. So again, for this video, again, I had like this one more important questions. PLC waiver. So PLC is like prior learning credit waiver of. So a lot of students who are coming for these programs are somehow experienced in their own industry, and they do carry certain years of experience. For example, even I have like 6 years of experience working as a data scientist before joining Clark as a master's student. So given my background or given someone else's background who has a relevant working experience, so they want to understand like what exactly is PLC waiver of program, and then how can they take benefit of that, and is there any certain eligibility criteria they need to fulfill in order to get this waiver of.
Yeah, that's a great question, and a question that we sure get a lot. So it actually has a new name now called the Assessment of Prior Learning. So the new acronym is APL. One of the things you'll notice is we have so many acronyms and kind of nicknames for things here. So the Assessment of Prior Learning is a pretty formal application that students have to submit. And this is for students who have, like VJ said, extensive work experience. And it gives you an opportunity to make a case for how your work experience meets the learning objectives of up to 2 classes. So what you would do in the application is you would sort of map how your specific experience, again, meets each of the learning outcomes of a particular class. And so it's, you know, a pretty significant application process. This is something that your academic advisor would walk you through. And if you are approved for it, you could receive academic credit for up to 2 classes. And so what that would mean is that instead of needing 10 classes for your program, you would only need 8. So it is a really great opportunity if you do have extensive work experience. So if it's something that you're interested in, certainly reach out to the advising team. We'll be happy to walk you through the options. And then one thing to also keep in mind is that if you have some work experience, but maybe not quite enough for that assessment of prior learning, we're sometimes able to allow students to take a substitute for a core requirement. So let's say you have maybe a little bit of experience. If I take that earlier example of Python programming, you have a little bit of experience, but maybe not, you know, enough to receive credit. You can reach out to your advisor, kind of tell them about your experience, and if it's decided that you have enough to not need to take that particular class, then you could take an elective instead. So again, it's a way to try to individualize your plan as much as possible and make sure that you're getting the most out of your master's year.
That's very awesome to understand. So to like sum up overall, probably if you have experience, of course, relevant as Tara said, and you will be given an application, and on that, in fact, you have a course information where when you know what are the outcomes of the whole program, and then you can map out your experienced relevant points to that outcomes, prepare an essay, and then definitely submit that to the advisor or the person when they're filing this thing, the PLC waiver application. And then once you are waived off, probably if you are, you can plan your semester or the whole program that way, because 2 courses are waived off now, and then you are left with 8 courses to do, core courses, and then you can plan when to take which. And probably I would suggest like 3 subjects in one semester. Like at a minimum, we have a need of it to be a full-time student. We need at least 3 subjects in one semester. But I wouldn't recommend anyone going above 3. People ask me actually this question: how much courses or how much subjects should we take in one semester? So I'm like, see, I took 3, and by the end of the semester, it was very hectic. Like with all the assignments, with all the exam schedules, it could get very hectic if you have more than 3. And 3 is the minimum one. So I suggest someone like 3 to 4. So what's your take on that? Like,
yeah, that's a question we also get a lot. We have found that for courses does tend to be a lot for students.
Yeah.
So in fact, for our new students coming in this fall, we actually are only allowing them to take 3 classes because we found that students are more successful when they take 3. Beyond your first semester, if you're interested in taking a 4th course, it's something to talk to your advisor about, but for the most part, we find that 3 is that sort of sweet spot. That's, what you want to stay at each semester.
That's correct. That's right. I would suggest personally as well, like spending one semester, I would suggest take 3 courses, which is like the minimum requirement. Plus you should have some free time to do a lot of other stuff during the semester.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep yourself completely busy with the coursework, right? You have so
Right.
many extra things to do actually. So I would suggest 3 as well. So actually in this way, you can finish your course before 2 years if you are given a PLC waiver, because that was also one of the questions that people asked, that can we finish our degree before 2 years? I'm like, there are scenarios given you get a waiver off, and that's where it can happen. Or probably you can take 4 courses in a semester. That way also, is it possible, or is it just by PLC waiver?
Yeah, there are a lot of different combinations and ways that you can do that. So if you wanted to graduate within 2 years, one great option if you're going to be here in the summer, or even if you're, back in your home country for our international students, if you're able to take online classes, that's a really great way to kind of speed up your timeline. Because the assessment of prior learning is a good option, and for students who have enough experience, it does help speed it up, but it's definitely not for everybody. So if you don't qualify for that for whatever reason, you certainly can still graduate within 2 years if you're open to taking some summer classes or potentially a 4th class, after your first semester. But again, that sort of depends.
Correct. So in summer, probably you will hear this lot, that people do not take courses in the summer. I did not take any courses for the summer. I wanted to be free, do more video work, do more exploration work in around Clark itself. And then I said the semester is also small, so we'll do directly in the fall. But I do know certain students, few students actually, who took at least 2 to 3 courses in summer itself, and they are actually finishing their degree program very soon. But I plan to stay on a Clark a little bit longer than those days. But at least 1.5 years, 2 years, it's good time to be on this campus if you are here anyway, and do other stuff too. This thing is like my opinion, that if you are in a Clark University or any university given for a particular coursework, you have to like explore other things too. Like I was a part of entrepreneurship class by SOM department, so that was also interesting, and being a grad student, I'm doing that too now. So it's actually interesting to explore other things, and it is allowed, right? It is allowed for you to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we encourage you to kind of do things outside of your coursework. I mean, obviously the priority is your classes, but explore things by taking internships when you're eligible for it, and, finding on-campus jobs if, you're able to get one, and different things like that.
Thanks for bringing that forward, because my next question is on that itself. Because again, I kept this question for the last, because this is the most important question that people ask regarding TA and RA jobs. Because other jobs are, of course, they will find out, they have the idea of it. So I am a research assistant. I work here in a STAYS committee since first semester itself. So I was lucky enough, and I had this project work as a work experience to show in the interview. So I did that. Interview happened, and I got selected because there was a position open. But since then, I have not seen for that department. So that's why like a lot of students reach out to me, why about there is so much RA jobs or TA jobs. So I just wanted you to clarify a little bit on the TA job or the eligibility of TA jobs, and then same for the RA jobs, because students do ask that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do tend to have a lot of opportunities for being a teaching assistant or a TA. So the process is that you would apply on a website called Handshake, which we use for pretty much all of our jobs at Clark. And if you are selected, you go through a whole interview process and application process. If you're selected, then you are included in a pool of TAs. And so we sort of, hold on to your applications and your availability. And then as the semester approaches, we then decide which classes are in need of a TA. So classes have to be a certain size in order to need a TA. So for the classes that are big enough for that, the professor then decides out of our pool of TAs who they would like to work with. So then they make the ultimate decision about, yes, I would like, to have VJ as my TA and that type of thing. So that's how the process works with being a TA. So you always want to just keep an eye on that Handshake website to see when the postings come up. With the research assistants, that tends to be pretty rare within SPS. Some other departments or schools at Clark might have some opportunities, but for the most part, not a lot of our faculty are actively engaged in research, and so we don't have a lot of RA opportunities. The reason that our professors don't tend to be engaged in research is that all of them are still actively working in their field. So during the day, they're still working their jobs. And so it's a really cool opportunity because they're very current. They know exactly what's happening in the field right now. They have a lot of good connections still in their field. And so we see a lot of benefits from that. But then the flip side is that there don't tend to be a lot of opportunities to be in RA.
Correct. No, that's true, because in fact it's valuable that way also. Like a person who's working in the market, who's working in the industry, can bring a lot of real life experience and then can teach you that way. So that's actually a valuable thing. And for the TA, I had like one more question, because I did not apply for TA yet, because as I said, I got the RA job and I'm settled with that. I'm doing it for that purpose. For the TA, so it is only eligible after you complete one semester for that particular course itself, right? And then it's like you don't choose the course, right? You just give the application and interview for being a TA, but it is on the professor who chooses anyone out of that pool. Is that how it is?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for bringing that up. So yes, you can only be a TA for a class that you've completed here at Clark and done very well in. So usually getting at least an A- in the course. And so yes, when you apply to be a TA, you can certainly have say and tell us which classes you'd like to be a TA for. We would never force you to be a TA for
so
a certain
it's a preference
class.
based too. Like we can prefer, okay, I want to be a TA for the Python because even I'm more comfortable with Python. So let's say I want to be or machine learning TA. That's okay.
Yeah, but we would never like force you, you have to be a TA for data
Python
management or something like that. But yes, at the, toward the beginning of the semester, the faculty do make the final decision in terms of who they would like out of the pool of applicants to be their TA.
Okay, got it. So that's
another good reason to make good connections with your faculty.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say next, because it is a good reason to connect with the faculty, because the more like in connection you are with the professor or faculty, they know you, right? And then probably you have a higher chances of being hired as a TA for that particular professor. So I have this experience of machine learning now. I had good connection with my professor. So the reason for the good connection is that I used to ask a lot of questions to him. Like if we are in the class, I would ask a lot of questions to my professor, and then so that way we got to build a lot of good connection. And in fact, even if I meet him now outside, he asks me questions for other things that are going around. So we do have a good connection. So actually it's very important to reach out to them and ask questions. It's very much expected and it is very much appreciated actually, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how it is. And I think we have covered like almost all of the questions that I was supposed to ask to you, and it was very helpful, very informative for sure. If you have anything else to address to the students, well, you can do that too for the students as well.
Yeah, I just would say, for our new students coming in, we're really excited for you to join us in the fall. If you have any questions at all, the best way to reach the advising team is through our email spsadvising@clarku.edu. And other than that, we're excited to see you once the semester begins.
Awesome. People have started to come now to the campus. They are already in travel mode now. So I would leave all this information, like the links and the email IDs, in the description as well, so that if you want to reach out, of course you can drop in an email, but go through the material of this video, go through the material on the website, and then of course be very specific and narrowed down to your questions and reach out to people available here, and they will be definitely very helpful for sure. So I guess that's all for the video. That's all I had to ask.
Okay.
Probably it is valuable. I hope it is informative. And if you like such videos, if you like such collaborations between us and the department and the people who can actually give information, do subscribe to the channel, because that's what I asked in the last. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your questions and thoughts on this video. And we all hope to see you here very soon on the campus.
Yeah.